But y'all, my kids are going crazy. It's just, nothing's normal anymore. And so I actually like really look forward to these things now because it gives me something to do and like a chance to get away. I'm so excited to be here. So first of all, thank you, Molly, for having me. This is one of my favorite topics to discuss, and so I'm really excited to be here. But to just introduce myself, well, thanks. I got them done just for you guys. I haven't worn makeup in like probably since we got back from New York, Molly. It's been a long time. Oh, that's so cool. What part of Alabama? I have not put on makeup since probably New York. Just, I haven't been out of the house, and so I haven't put it on. But I was like, this is kind of good to get me just feeling back normal, you know? So I'll introduce myself, and then I'll get right into it. For those of you that don't know me, and I don't know many of you, but I adore Molly. She's like, I want to be like her. I want to be her. I want to just like talk like her. I want to act like her. But I met Molly while we were in New York, and we just had a chance to connect. And I mean, I really think that we would be best friends if we lived in the same city. I love her so much. But I'm Jackie. I'm from Birmingham, Alabama, and I have been with Color Street for Mobile. Okay, so my mom grew up in Mobile. That's down south, but love Mobile. So I have been with Color Street. It'll be my 2-year anniversary in April. And I was in direct sales before Color Street. So I did another company for several years before Color Street, but it was totally different. It was weight loss type stuff, and so completely switched into a totally different product. But I love Color Street. I love the product, number one. That's what made me switch over, is but the product's just unbelievable. But I love the company and everything it stands for, and Mr. Park and everybody at corporate is just amazing. So anyway, so just kind of like a track record for me, way down south, yes. A track record for me, when I first came into Color Street, like recruiting was my number one priority. I did love the product, but I knew that it was going to be something more than just nails. Speaking of, I've got on, what is this, guys? Is it the Philadelphia and Palm Before the Storm? So it's so pretty. I'm obsessed with it. But I knew it was more than just nails. I knew that it was going to be something that if I could get people to just try it, and then invest themselves into the business side of it, I knew this was going to blow up and change people's lives. And it's done that for me. And you know, I've done a lot. Like I've hit big ranks, and I did it quickly, and I'm making a great income, and we loved our house before, but we bought like our dream home on the lake just the last few months, and are living like the dream, you guys. But don't get me wrong, it was hard work and took major dedication, but it all started with this, so recruiting is great and recruiting is fun, and sometimes we look at people and we think, oh, if I could just get them to sign up, but it really all starts with a product. So anyways, to get started, today I'm going to chat about recruiting. I'm going to talk about overcoming objections, because we can do all the steps in recruiting that we want, but if we don't know how to talk to people, we're really not going to get the job done, because there's a sweet spot, I feel like, with how to talk to people, what to say, and that's what I want to chat about tonight. So, but before I get into the what to say or what to do, I really want to chat about mindset, because for me, overcoming my fear, who on here is maybe fearful of talking to people about the business? Or if you've ever messaged somebody and you've been like just stuck at your keyboard and you're like, just move fingers, just type. But it's scary, there's a fear you have to overcome with recruiting and with talking to people about the business side. So to overcome that fear and maybe that anxiety often associated with recruiting, you really have to put on like a recruiting mindset cap. And that fear is okay. And that's, truly what I want you to understand. The fear of it or the anxiety of it is actually really a good thing, I feel like, because then we can sympathize with our stylist and say, when they come out with you with like a fear or an objection, you know how to say, look, I know I felt the same way. Like just even texting you or messaging you, like I know that fear. So I really feel like it's a way for us to empathize with them. So like fear is totally normal and okay and almost a good thing because you know how they feel, talking to you too. So overcoming that is extremely important. I think a lot of us feel very comfortable selling the product, but then when it comes to recruiting, you're like, screw it, like, I don't know if I can do that. And sometimes, you're not a born natural recruiter, and that's totally okay. Recruiting is a learned skill. It is not something that most people are born with. And so just like when you go, hi, Brooke, just like when you go to college to be a dental hygienist, are there any dental hygienists? Probably not, but just like you go to college to be a dental hygienist, you have to learn this part of the business. So coming in here and saying, oh, well, I'm not good at that, so I'm just not going to build a team. I'm just going to sell the product. Really, that's kind of just cutting yourself short on an incredible opportunity, but it's kind of it just doesn't make sense because everything in life you have to learn, especially if you're not born with that natural ability. So know that this is a learned skill and something that you really need to be a student at. So if this is something that you might not feel so confident in, I really encourage you to take some notes tonight. Even after I get off, there's so many great trainings in the virtual office that you can look up recruiting on and really become a student of recruiting. But with past direct sales, I got crippled by that fear of recruiting. So I quickly had to learn, just be a student, and then I also had to learn to kind of have a system to kind of give me something to do. And like I always say, think less, do more. So if I have a system that I can just kind of check off, it helps me with the process and it helps me overcome the thinking aspect, and I just go to do. So I want to quickly share my system and then I'm going to go into overcoming objections. So my system is very simple. If you were at conference and maybe happened to be in my room, or I did I did a Tuesday training on this as well. You may have heard this, but I want to share my system because if you have any type of fear of recruiting, I really think this is going to help you and take that pressure off of you. Because I do know one of you asked, how do you know who to talk to about the opportunity? So this helps me pinpoint who to know to talk to. So my system is very simple. It starts with getting samples on people. I know, I just keep blabbering and I'm not giving it to you. Starts with a sample. The first thing when I meet somebody or in a party or just if I'm connecting with someone over social media, I only want to get a sample on them. Because what I've learned is obviously our product sells itself. You get a sample on someone and they love the product. They're excited. You want it to start with excitement. So getting the product on somebody. So I start with a sample, and then my only goal at that point is to follow up with them to see how they like it. I'm not trying to follow up with them to get them on my team. I'm not trying to follow up with them to get them to be a hostess. I just want to make sure they like the product. And then once I've talked to them and checked in on them, see if they got it, make sure that they love it, then my next step is just to kind of walk them through the next step of becoming a customer. So I usually what I do is, and this has nothing to do with recruiting, but just my next step is I'll just simply message them to follow up and say, hey, did you get a chance to try your sample? Did you like it? They'll say, yeah, I love it. Or they'll say, I haven't tried it yet. But either way, I say, well, I always like to give my first-time customers a discount of like a $10 set. So I have, and I'll kind of list what I have. What would you like for $10? And that kind of gets them into being a customer. And once you get them hooked into a full set, then we all know you get them in your VIP group. It all goes from there. Well, then once I have them as a customer, my next step is just to get them to be a hostess. I could go into booking parties, but I won't because that's not really what this training is about. But once I get a hostess, this is where my work really begins with recruiting. That's when I start to bring up becoming a stylist. So really just to kind of get over that fear of who do I talk to even become a potential, try to take the pressure off of you of trying to figure it out and just walk people through the process of a sample, customer, hostess, stylist. Now, I do have some girls that try a sample and they, the conversation leads to right away being a stylist and they sign up, and that's fun and that's great. But usually it's just kind of taking them along that process. So write that down: sample, customer, hostess, stylist, and just know, yes, you'll have kind of, some people want to get started right away, and like don't ever turn anybody away because you have to get them to go through your funneling system. So with that, let me make sure I'm taking everything step by step. These are the questions I have. So at the end, I'm going to go over those questions that y'all asked me because they were really, really great questions. Okay, so let's chat about once you say you are talking to your hostess, she's just had her party, it went great, or even it bombed, whatever it might be. Let's talk about how to talk to somebody. And I'll reference people that have hosted with me, and I'll even be referencing people who are just customers. But the first thing on how to talk to people about signing up, first thing that I ever get from someone, say they reached out to me and they wanted more information, or say we've just did the party and so we're kind of just wrapping things up, and I'll mention, girl, you did so great, you should just be a stylist. Like, come on, like, why are you not a stylist by now? So say she's either asked for more information, or the conversation has just led to she has agreed to learn more about, the business side of it. I just simply say, okay, I'd love to chat about getting you started, but what interests you most about the business and why? And you can word it however you want to word it, but my goal in this is to find out why she even is interested. Because if it's for the money, I need to know that. And if it's for just a hobby, I need to know that. And it's really just not getting too detailed, but at least knowing a little bit of why she wants this and why she's even interested in this. And it can be lighthearted. It doesn't have to be like this huge long why. We're not going for that. We're just going for a simple what interested you and why. Write it down. Write her name down. If you're not tracking who you're talking to, you really need to track. But write it down, and then so you now know how to help her overcome these objections. So how to talk. First, ask them why they're interested. Get kind of like the background of why. And then you really can start diving into like the language and what you can say. I like to come from a place of no pressure. To prepare for this training, I asked some of my personally sponsored stylists, and I just said, looking back on when we were talking, like, can you think of just one phrase that like really stuck out to you? And they really couldn't give me one phrase, but they did. Every single one of them talked about how like the no pressure attitude was very attractive. But they also said the confidence that I portrayed or put out there was also attractive. So when I speak to someone that I'm talking to, I'm speaking from a place of confidence of they're already signed up. Like they're already agreeing to it and we're just kind of going through the motions. So I'll say things like, okay, when you're signed up, this is what's going to happen. We're going to get you on my we're going to get you on my team page. And as we go through the new stylist training, these are going to be the steps. So I'm already speaking to them like, it's a done deal. They've already agreed to it. There's no hesitations, even though there really is, but I'm making sure I'm speaking from a place of confidence. Not a pressure necessarily, but you're already signed up. This is what's going to happen. We're going to get you on my team page. You're really selling a vision, because they can sign up with anybody they wanted to, but they really were drawn to you and they're talking to you for some reason. So I'm just selling a vision of, once you get signed up, this is the world you're opened up to. Maybe you have 2 people under you, because if you're in this group, right, you have at least 2 people under you. Maybe you have 50 people under you. Whatever it is, you're on an amazing team, and you can really speak in a confident manner that they're going to have every single resource available for them to succeed. So don't worry about if you've just started and you only have a certain amount of people underneath you. Like, you have connections to an incredible upline with awesome training. You guys, I can't tell you enough how amazing your upline and team is. I've been on a lot of teams before, and just know that it's awesome. So speak confidently. Like, when you get signed up, this is going to happen. And then let them ask questions, and don't freak out when they start to ask questions. It's a natural thing for people to question new ideas. So don't take it personally when they ask hard questions, or maybe questions that you feel like, ooh, like I don't want to answer that. Like, let them ask the questions. Stay calm and just answer it one question at a time. Don't feel like you have to word vomit. Just take it one question at a time, stay calm, and then always point them back to their why. Always point them back to why they were even interested in the first place. So for example, I get this all the time. Girl, I'm so busy. I don't have any time for this. You know, I've got a family, I've got a full-time job, you know, whatever it might be. And if you have not heard this by now, I've used this for years, even before Color Street, to always use the feel, felt. And what's funny is I laugh about that every time, because when me and one of my PS, this is really funny. One of my PS stylists, she's from same town, Birmingham, Alabama, where obviously we have an accent. And we were speaking together on recruiting at conference, and she was talking about the feel, felt, found method, but with her accent, it sounded like fill, like F-I-L-L. And so everybody's like, feel, felt, found. Like, they weren't getting it. And then it popped up on the screen, you know, F-E-E-L, and they were like, oh, I mean, everybody erupted in laughter and like, oh my God, that's what you were talking about. So anyways, it's feel, felt, found. Girl, I know how you feel. I felt the same way in the beginning. But what I have found is that I just need to get little pockets of time. I've got 3 kids. I had, at the time when I started, I had a boutique, an online boutique I was running. We do all kinds of sports. Like, my world was, what I felt like was full. But that's the whole reason I got into this. I didn't want to do the boutique anymore. It took up way too much of my time. It took up way too much of my time. So I need this because I don't have time. And you reverse psychology it, kind of. You don't have time, so you need Color Street. You work full time and you never get to see your kids. You need Color Street so that you can work from home and be with your kids and enjoy this time. Or say they have no money. Oh, it's just like $30 for the kit. Oh, like, I just don't have the money. Girl, I totally know how you feel. I felt the same way. I had to sell old clothes just to buy the kit. I had to go to my neighborhood page, sell some old clothes that we had laying around just so I could buy the kit to get started. And what I found is that was the whole reason I got started. I was so tired of having to sell my stuff in my house just to get things that I wanted. So there you go again. You don't have money. Well, maybe that's a sign that you need this. Maybe that's a sign that you need to take it into your own hands and like really put this in, into your hands to make the money that you want to make. And then just little things, there's so many other objections, and maybe drop an objection below that you get. But another one that I get a lot is I don't know enough people. And that one irks me so bad. I don't know why. That one's like the one that annoys me most, but saturation, or I don't know enough people. when I was with my previous direct selling business, like it was up to me to expand my market. I had to be like so good at social media. I had to rocket Instagram. I had to like do all these things to market myself because we were not a party-based business. So one thing that I really sell with Color Street is that we're a party-based business. I literally, the first 3 months of my business, and I hit director in 3 months, you guys, it was director. The first 3 months of my business, I posted on my personal social media page one time. Yes, Leah is my neighbor and she's my upline and we're both senior executive directors. But I posted about it one time on my personal page. Everything else was done through my VIP group and parties. So you can build an entire business if you know one person. That's all you need to know is one person. So when I'm talking to people, I literally will say, give me 2 friends that you can name right now. And if you have 2 friends, you can make this work. If you only have 2 friends, you can still make this work because they're going to host a party and then you're going to be opened up to a whole new world. So really pushing party-based business, that is a mega selling point. Another selling point that I like to talk about, and this doesn't really come up as an objection, but I do like to pinpoint this sometimes when I'm in the conversation when they want to know kind of like, how is it really selling? And I like to talk about how we're an instant gratification type product. I think because I was in weight loss before and the products were really expensive and it was results based, it was really difficult. Not only are you having to sell a product that this might work for them, then you had to wait and coach them after and it's just a hot mess. So this being a product that, first of all, our samples are like tucked into our pocket and then you can just hand samples out and they're inexpensive. And then as soon as they apply it, it's instant gratification, right? Like it's an instant, oh my God, this is mind blowing. That's a huge selling point, and I like to bring that up a lot when I'm talking to girls because I'm like, look, party-based business, you don't have to know a lot of people. Instant gratification product, like it sells itself basically, and then all the other little talking points. I know that was a lot. I'm gonna breathe. Do y'all have any questions so far? Because I'm quickly gonna get into maybe some of these questions that y'all asked me. Y'all had a few really good questions. And then I'll hop off and I'll let y'all have a great night. Okay, so first, someone asked, what is your go-to phrase? I actually could not answer this, and so I had to go to my team, and that's when I asked them. I was like, what's something that I say? And they were like, it really wasn't that you said something. It was just that no pressure attitude. And one girl said that she even likes to say, best case scenario, you make money. Worst case scenario, you save money. And I love that. I'm totally stealing it, and I'm going to say that now. Because really, best case scenario, you do great. You make some money, and you are successful. Worst case, you bought an incredibly good deal with the kit, and you have some awesome sets to wear, and you saved some money. Like that's such good, positive, confident way of saying that. So I really love that. So the next question was, who do you ask? And I kind of talked about that with the whole funneling system that I use. My go-to people are always my hostesses because I've really worked on getting them through sample customer hostess. So I'm really invested in my hostesses at that point. All of my hostesses are girls that I have been really investing in from the beginning. As far as not from the beginning when I first started, but from the beginning of when I first met them or connected with them through another party. I'm all about relationships. I'm all about connecting with them. So for me, recruiting is not I talk to a person one day and then the next day they sign up. My recruiting process, and I hope I don't scare you guys with this, but my recruiting process is I'm really investing in a relationship for several months before they end up actually signing up. So, but I feel like that's really with anything, you guys. Planting seeds is just really effective. But other people that I talk to, repeat customers, something that I do with repeat customers, and you guys, this might not work for you, but like I said, I am very like no pressure, like lighthearted. It is what it is. And not it is what it is. Like I'm just throwing it out into the universe, hoping that I'm going to recruit somebody that week. But something that I really, really try to teach my team is the no pressure approach is not just like hoping it works, but it's putting off that vibe to your girls that like you don't need them, they need you type thing. Like my business is my priority, and I'm not going to put it in the hands of one girl that I'm hoping is going to sign up. I'm working my butt off. Whether they sign up or not, I'm still running my business, and I'm still reaching out to other people, and I'm still talking to other people. I'm never going to put all my eggs in one basket. I'm never going to put all my eggs in like that one person just hoping and praying they sign up. So that's like the no pressure approach that I'm talking about. It's not just throwing it out in the universe, hoping it happens, but it's knowing that your business is your priority and it's up to you to be successful. It's not up to Sally over here, just hoping she'll sign up. So if you think you're talking to enough people, you're not. Talk to more people. Just keep talking to more people. If you're trying to hit Circle of Excellence every single month, you cannot just be talking to 2 people every month. You really need to be talking to more people. Okay, so let's see. How to turn a no into a yes. That was one question of, say you get a no, how can you turn that into a yes? This might not be mind-blowing, and it might not be what you want to hear, but just stay patient with that person. I don't really have any just solid gold things to say except stay patient, stay consistent with investing in them as a friend and as just a loyal customer of yours. Like I said, have never had overnight somebody, talk to me one day and overnight talk to me the next day and ready to sign up, except for one time. And she's a rock star, but she was just ready to sign up and she came to me and she signed up. Most of my stylists I talked to and I was just patient with. And like I said, it was kind of that no pressure type thing. But I will say, and I was going to say this a minute ago and I forgot where I was going with it. Repeat customers, a customer who bought like $120 worth, sometimes I'll randomly get these customers from a party who go on and buy like $120 worth of nails. And I'm like, girl, you could have bought a kit with that. So girls like that, or ladies like that, something that I'll do just kind of nonchalantly and just a lighthearted, and this is just my, personality is, here's another tip, even just with following up with customers, and I'm going to quickly try to wrap this up. I know I'm talking so much. But one thing that I do just to follow up with customers and to make sure that line of communication is constantly there, and this is like really building trust with these ladies and building just a relationship with them. When they order, I make sure I go in and I look and see when their order, like I track their number or I track their order, and then I see when it's supposed to arrive at their house, and I'll just shoot them a message and I'll say, hey girl, I see your order is about to get there on Friday. Just want you to look out for it. Also, and I'll just jokingly say, also, I put your new stylist kit in the mail too, because you really need to sign up to be a stylist. And I just like jokingly throw it out there. I'll do a lot of winks, a lot of LOLs. I'll even do a GIF of somebody like hysterically laughing. But just to kind of like break the ice of, oh, you're so sweet. Just to break the ice of me definitely wanting to bring up them being a stylist. It needs to be brought up because they're either buying a lot or, somebody you would really want it to be good with, or you think that would be good at it. And I just nonchalantly throw it out there. Like, I'm just going to go ahead and put your new stylist kit in the mail because you need to be a stylist. But, it is what it is. I feel like go with your personality. If that's not your personality, don't worry about it. But, for me, just that no pressure, just whatever, nonchalant. I want them just to know that I think they would be great at it. And by now, you should have bought a kit, right? Okay, so one question was about pre-selling kits. I personally don't have a lot of experience with this, so I'm not going to really go over that just because I don't feel like I have great advice for that. And I'm sure there's other people that have awesome tips, so I might leave that for someone else. But then the last two, people who are slow to commit, and this kind of goes back to the how do you turn a no to a yes. The slow to commit, don't discount them and don't write them off. Please don't write them off. I've had two girls who it took them 8 months from the time that, not even from the time they were a customer, but the time that we first talked about being a stylist to the time they signed up. It took them 8 months, you guys, of literally being, we have an opportunity group, which I'm sure y'all have too, but being in my opportunity group every single month, like asking this, the same questions and just contemplating it. And y'all have no idea how many times I said, girl, you could be like a director by now, like stop worrying. But like just being patient with them, planting those seeds, just again in conversations, lightheartedly planting seeds. But if anything, I just want you guys to understand like the patience behind recruiting and knowing that a lot of times it's not going to be they ask for information one day and they sign up the next day. It's going to be a good process because you want to connect with these people. But like I said earlier, you should never just be waiting on somebody to sign up. I with like Circle of Excellence and hitting 2 recruits every month, I hate going into like the second half of the month feeling like I'm just waiting on this one person to sign up. If you're doing that, I really recommend reshifting and maybe focusing on like really starting to develop more relationships and focus on getting more solid connections. And then the last question was, do I interview? Like, do I have interview questions? I don't necessarily interview people. I get the idea behind that, because, once you do really start to, want to get into recruiting and you start to really build a team, you get to see and you really kind of in the beginning can tell like who might do great and who might not. Obviously some people can blow us out of the water, but we do get it. Like we really sometimes can see like this person's not going to be great. So I get the interview aspect of it, but obviously I'm never going to really like turn anybody away. So I don't like to say interview, but I evaluate and I make sure that I'm taking notes. I have my binder of all my notes and everything. But I evaluate people and I can, you can pick up on, this person, like just their wording is not sounding like they're fully committed. And so I evaluate them. Once they do sign up, I have the notes from, previously. And when I'm coaching them and on coaching calls, like that's kind of how I go from there. But as far as interview questions, like I don't do that. The only question I ask them is why, and just so I know how to help them overcome any objection or fear that they have. But I think that's it, you guys. I don't know what time it is, but I think that's it, unless y'all have any questions. Circle of Excellence has made me sloppy. I know it can sometimes get out of desperation, especially when you've got 2 recruits for the month and you have somebody message you 3 days before the end of the month and you're like, and they're wanting to know information about being a stylist and you're like, I'll message you in 3 days, in 3 days when it's a new month. Awesome. Yay. Nobody's commenting. Oh, that's sweet. But I mean, if anything, I hope I gave you some good tips. I know I'm the type of person, tell me what to say. I'm like the checklist, tell me what to say. I'll do, if you just tell me what to do and say, I will do it and I will succeed. And that's what really was hard for me in the beginning of direct sales is because yes, there is a checklist. There are things that you can say and tweak and do, but it really is, sometimes it's not just a check it off, a check off box. Sometimes it really is just planting seeds and trusting the process, and liking the process. For me, when I started liking the process of coaching somebody from like being a sample to a stylist, it was really exciting. And then I feel like those girls truly at that point love the product. They know the process, and they can see how, as long as you're patient with someone and as long as you're not putting all your eggs in one basket, you can really succeed in this. So anyways, I love you guys. I wish I could be a part of your team. Will y'all adopt me? Can I just be adopted? No, I love my team so much, but y'all, it was so, I love Molly, and, she loves you guys, and it's just evident that y'all have a lot of love going on. I have 2 girls on the fence for a while, and I feel like I'm pressuring them too much, but they've already said they want to join, so I'm going to lost it. How to proceed? That's a great question. So I'll have girls that will be like, okay, yeah, give me the link. I give them a link, and then they like ghost me. So I kind of just feel for it. And two, this kind of goes back to like, this is why you don't want to just put all your eggs in one basket, and why you want to be talking to several different people constantly. And so a couple of things that I have found to be a little helpful. If you have opportunity groups, which I'm pretty sure y'all do, or if you don't, like, I have an opportunity group where every single month we like do a live, event. I always make sure, if they're not in there, that they get put in there, but I always make sure that I continue to tag them, or I continue to message them and say, hey, we're having another opportunity group. So I always let them know I'm still thinking about them. If they want to leave that group, that's totally fine. I've never had someone leave the group. But always keeping that line of communication open, and like that no pressure thing. Like, I know I've said that 10,000 times, but at that point, if somebody has ghosted me at least once or twice, I kind of just am ready to move on. Because again, I don't need them. Really, they need this opportunity more than I need them, because my business is going to keep going. Like, I'm on a train and I'm going, and I'm not waiting on anybody just to hop on. I'm going, and when you're ready to get on, but I'm not going to sit there and wait on you. So I think for me, if they've ghosted me once or twice, I just kind of move on. I still like reach out to them with any like deals I have. I make sure I'm pleasing them as a customer. I hope that was helpful. It's hard. It's so hard when you're like, they are ready to sign up, and then it's like they get afraid. I will, at that point, hopefully I've already talked to them and I know their why and why they wanted it. So at that point, I try to make sure I'm going back to that. And if I know them well enough, I'll just be like, where are you? Remember when you wanted some more time with your kids? Remember when you wanted more time with your kids? The opportunity is still here. What's changed? I use humor, I think, as like a way to break the ice sometimes. And I don't think it's turned anybody away, but I will sometimes just like throw it out there in like a funny way, hoping that they'll open up. Oh. Okay, guys. I really enjoyed this chat. I haven't really talked to any adults in a while because of the quarantine. Oh, are y'all surviving out there? Is this not madness? I feel like I'm in the twilight zone. I went on a walk with some of the girls in the neighborhood, and we were all like, are we in a movie right now? We have a friend who had to go get tested for the coronavirus around here in our area, and they said it's like a movie, that like when you drive up, it's this long line of people trying to get tested. You drive up, they tell you to roll your window down like an inch, they slip you a piece of paper, you fill it out, you keep going. I know I'm talking not about what y'all want to talk about. And then they keep going, and then you don't even give the piece of paper to anybody, you just hold it up to your window so they can read it. And then you go further, and it's just like a movie, you guys. Like, nobody, it's just crazy. Okay, how do you ask if they want any more information about becoming a stylist? Do you just say that, basically? Yeah, let me think. Let's see. With a hostess, so say I have a hostess, and she's had a great party, and you know, her friends had a lot of fun. You could really tell in the party, like, everybody's loving it. And I'm just like, I'll say, so you had an awesome party. Your friends are loving it. Like, why not continue this? Have you ever thought about being a stylist? And then, you know, she'll say yes, no, maybe so. And then I keep the conversation going. So again, it's like my funneling system. Like, I'm really mainly talking to hostesses for the most part. Say their party like bombed, because I have some of those where their party does not do great, and you're just sitting here thinking, like, what do I even do? Like, do I even ask them? Do I even want this person to be a stylist? But I always give them the opportunity, because I feel like it's not my place to prejudge someone. So I always give them the chance, and I'll just say, hey, had so much fun. I kind of bring up, like, if you liked your party, wouldn't it be so fun to throw these for other people? So I kind of put it back in their court of how it's fun and it's a party-based business, and how even though they might not have had a great party and maybe only 1 or 2 people purchased, just bringing up, like, in that manner of, if you had fun with this, like, how fun is it to throw it for other people? Have you ever thought about being a stylist? Y'all don't even have tests in Omaha. Y'all, I know it's crazy. We have people from Georgia and Florida coming to, like, our town just to get tested. I know, Molly, like, I mean, I'm obsessed with New York. I would have been so mad if we couldn't have gone to New York. Obviously, I'm obsessed with home office, too. It wasn't just New York, but it's weird that we were just there and now all this is happening. Another way that I'll bring up being a stylist to somebody who was not a hostess, and I can just feel that they're really excited about this product. Like, say they tried the sample and they just can't stop talking to me about it. I go off of that excitement, and I'm just like, yeah, isn't this so much fun? And I'll just start talking about how, like, I get to do this while staying home with my 3 kids. Like, I'm having so much fun, so much more fun now than I was, you know, without kids and working at a daycare. Like, and you just kind of talk about, like, go with that excitement and try to plant seeds of why this is fun for you. And if you know them well enough, maybe throw in some seeds of why you think it would be fun for them. Is that helpful? I hope so. All right, guys. Well, thanks for having me. If y'all have any other questions, I can try to go through some of my messages and screenshot some, like, just some words that I've used, and maybe how, you know, if someone gave me an objection, how I responded back. I can send those to Molly and she can share them with you guys, because I do think sometimes it's just easier when you see it versus, like, me just saying it. So I can definitely do that. I'll work on that tonight and tomorrow, and I'll get those sent over to Molly and she can share it with you guys. But any questions, y'all feel free to reach out to me. Again, y'all have an incredible upline team, and I think that's it. I hope y'all have an awesome night. Keep yourselves quarantined. Maybe we'll be out of the woods in a couple of weeks. But anyways, y'all have an awesome night. Bye.